Right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're being filmed.
Can I come in and talk to you?
Good afternoon.
The guy that was sitting in it?
No, I did not see that chair. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys for coming to Lunch with the Builder. Get some snacks and get some food if you need. We're gonna get started.
Yeah.
You guys ready? Awesome. Okay, go over the lumber prices. Homes for sale in the Treasure Valley, 450 to 500,000, 450 and 500,000. Kind of some inventory, real estate questions. Talk about interest rates. Been kind of interesting, and some local news or some national news stuff affecting that. Then see any questions. Lumber prices fairly steady. Been fairly steady this year. We've taken a basically. Taking a 2,600 square foot house, 45 foot RV bay, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, kind of a base house. We price it out all every month basically. And it comes in at $43,287. Again, that's just lumber. It's no siding, no trusses, no windows, just framing lumber for our current house. It's very. We started doing this because lumber prices were so volatile, but you go back not very long, in 19 and 20, that was $26,000. It's up, almost double, and it just has not come back down. I guess winter of 22 is kind of the lowest, but it's been pretty consistent for a while. We've also seen we don't see any price decreases on the horizon for lumber, for sheetrock or roofing or any of those things. It's just you just don't see price decreases. Labor's not going down. Lots aren't going down. You guys are taking less for commissions when you're selling houses. I mean, nothing's going down, right? So what's going to drive the price of a house down? Supply and demand, I guess. We are seeing some builders building a little bit of inventory, and guys have been offering $25,000 discounts on houses and for add-ons and that type of stuff. But remember, some of those things are kind of poised to get you to go buy a house from them or build a house with them, because they have a base house that's pretty basic. And if you want to add, like doorknobs, I mean it's kind of facetious, but like real doorknobs that actually work, it's going to cost you more money. So they're trying to get you in the door and then upsell you on those things to take care of that $25,000 allowance. Now there are existing houses they're doing that with as well, but it is pretty competitive out there right now, especially in that mid price range with national builders. We have so many national builders now building in that price range. They're kind of beating each other up, but it's kind of there's some good deals to be had there. There really is. But realize what you're getting into and what you've got.
Yeah,
right?
Like you said, they're old school as national ones. They'll come in with they'll charge you that base price,
right,
and then they come slap you the add-ons, kind of like Corey Barton used to do 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I talked to somebody, they went to, and I'm not going to say who it was, but their base house was $460. By the time they got done to get something that was remotely close to a lot of the people's, it was almost $600,000. Just in the carpet and the LVP and the countertops and the appliances and the stuff to get you to, So there's a lot of games being played out there right now, and guys are still fighting for market share right now. I mean, they've got a lot of national builders have moved here in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're all fighting for market share. And once they establish market share, they'll be able to they'll be able to raise prices and produce more profit. So there is, even though price of houses hasn't come down, you're seeing prices on new construction come down a little bit. It's basically because national builders are writing down houses and taking discounts to move product. So, any questions? Alicia, have we had any problems getting anything really from material wise? I mean, there for a long time we had problems getting material during COVID and stuff. That's pretty much shaken its way through the system, supply chain. So there's a few things, like right now I'm waiting for a fireplace in Twin Falls. Just a weird thing. That, you know, it's not like it was. So it's getting back to semi-normal, but I just don't see prices going down. Any questions on new construction pricing? Cool. Let's get into real estate. We also do every month, we do houses under, this is homes under 450. Boise, Meridian, Nampa, Star, Middleton, Eagle, and Cuna. We've done this for 4 years, so I have 4 years worth of data. This is just a few, let me just take a snapshot of a few months going back and looking at it. We're down inventory wise compared to last month. We're a little higher than we were in August, quite a bit higher than we were in May. So it's been, this summer's been fairly similar as far as inventory. We're seeing a little more inventory move now, it seems like. A lot of price decreases in Boise and Napa. I mean, this seems to be a fair amount, especially in the lower, in that lower level. I think some of these houses that are going to the market are in pretty poor shape, and they sit there for a while, so people keep reducing the price on those. So that you see more price reductions under 450 than you do between 450 and 500. Does that make sense? So I think, again, people are selling rentals. Vacancy rates are up on rentals. You know, there's more availability for rentals. Rental prices are gone down a little bit. Rental rates have gone down a little bit. And some people have done some profit taking and are selling rentals off. And I think that's kind of seems like the majority or a fair amount of what's going on in this under 450 price range. And there's some houses there that are just not in the greatest of shape, and so you're seeing sit there for their investment, they're just rather get rid of them than to sit there and hold on to them, so. Any questions?
Is that just single family, is there?
Yeah, so this is single family only, and then just those areas. It doesn't take consideration any acreage, it's just this, we've had the same numbers, just single family in those specific towns. And that's only under 450. Next slide. This is the last 4 years for November. So you look this year, last year we had about 15% less houses. Kind of see where we're at. Nampa seems to be a bigger number today than what it was last year. Everybody else very similar in numbers. Look at Star last year had 75 houses. This year has 12. Last year, that was primarily, a lot of that was new construction last year. Star have seen a huge new construction influx. Now that new construction, you can't build in Star under 450, so you're seeing that number under 450 be greatly reduced.
Do you think that's gonna change?
It's thinning up.
No.
Okay.
No, I think that the house under 450 in Star was an aberration because they bought lots cheap enough and they built enough. There was two builders out there that really battling each other. They had small lots and they got into land cheap enough. There's just no way to build a house under 450 if your lot costs you $200,000. It just is not, and make a profit. It just
Not feasible.
doesn't work. You know, building they just talked about in Star, they're implementing a new impact fee. It's going to be upwards of $14,000 per building permit. That's just the impact fee. It's already, I think, $8,600. It's going to be 14. So impact fees is something that Nampa started with and other places are toying with. So if you go to Star, and I haven't built Star, so forgive me, I haven't pulled a permit in Star in 4 years, but it was $5,600 for the water permit, water and sewer permit, and the building permit was about $8,000 to $12,000 depending on the size of the house. So you're paying that money, and now you're paying another $14,000 on top of that for impact fees.
Just for a piece of paper.
Yeah, just for availability to grow. So if you add those all up, it could be as much as almost $30,000 in the price of a house that has nothing to do except for permission to build a house. And we wonder why house prices are going up. So.
Does Caldwell fall in line with some of the Nampa numbers? Do you follow Caldwell?
We've never done Caldwell, and we just never did it. It's different. By the time we got into it to do it, I could definitely do that. I've looked at it in the past. It is a little more independent. You know, Caldwell is a growing area, very rapidly growing area. If you drive out Caldwell, if you go out Chinden, and where that Caldwell the highway and Chinden meet, that place is crazy. I mean, it's amazing how much stuff is going in there. But,
A lot of development there.
huh?
A lot of development.
There's a lot of development, there's a lot of potential development there because Nampa is so difficult for development. You know, Meridian is developed pretty much itself out, and Boise is under a moratorium. Middleton is difficult to work with, so it pretty much leaves Caldwell. And Caldwell is a massive area too. I mean, you know, Kuna is the largest city by size in the area as far as square footage, you know, or square miles. But Cuna's Caldwell's pretty big too. You know, we're building off of, we're looking at a project that's off of, down by Lake Lowell, off of 10th and Orchard. So clear down by the lake. That's actually a Caldwell impact area. And then we're also building we have to get permission from Canyon County and Caldwell impact to do anything as well. Because it's Caldwell impact area. So that's Caldwell. As well as we're building out by Purple Sage Golf Course, and that's also Caldwell. That's a fair distance away.
Yeah, that's far apart.
Fair distance away. All impacted by Caldwell. Even though you're going to Canyon County for permits, it's still a Caldwell impact area. So it's a pretty interesting area. Any questions so far? Good questions, thank you.
Yeah.
Homes under 500. Again, similar data. We're doing homes under 450. Got to the point where there weren't hardly any. So we moved up to homes under 500. So you can kind of see here, similar to months in the past. August and now we're down a little bit in inventory. Again, the red number is the price reductions. The other number is days on market. Kind of average that in that area, so it might help you. The red numbers primarily are under 450. There's not as much in the 450 to 500 area. Any questions? Let's move on. So this is the kind of rolled up numbers of pending homes, active homes, days of inventory. And so in pending homes, this is again, single family homes, 1,422 pending homes and 2,087 active homes. So we have about 44 days on market. Again, all this data is taken today, collected today. It's not an average, it's just a snapshot of what it is today. New construction available, there's 928 homes. So roughly half of those homes, or just under half of those homes that are available, are new construction.
Great.
So I think it's easy to say that new construction dominates, single family residences in Canyon County. The other issue with that is those are single family, those are new construction that are actually on the market. How many new construction do you see out there that are not on the not listed in the MLS, right? So there's probably more, but if you do these numbers all the time, it gives you the same data, right? If the build time's the same, it should be very similar. Then you have new construction under 400,000. We had that number because we found it interesting that how many can you get a new house under 400,000? There is houses available. There's 68 available. Over $1 million, there's 99, and pending over $1 million, there's 59. So a little different than it was in October, but fairly similar numbers through there. And then if you look at new construction, there's 772 pending new construction of the 928 that are listed, so it's a 36-day inventory. So there's less inventory days on market for new construction than there is for existing, which is interesting because new construction will sit longer sometimes, right? Because when they put it on, if you look at new construction in the MLS and you want to make an offer on a house and say, hey, it's been on the market for 300 days, maybe we should make it less of an offer. Well, realize they might have put that on before they started the house, and the house just got done, huh?
The dirt work was not even.
Right, and so whatever 200, So I've had people come to me and say, well, yeah, it's been on the market for 300 days. You should take a discount. I said, we just got it done. We just got the C of O last month. It's only really been done for a month, But that's it doesn't hurt to make an offer on a house. Never hurts to ask until it does. Because I had somebody make an offer on a townhome, and we told them to go pound sand. It was so insulting. It's like, just go away.
I'm not even gonna reply to you.
No, it's like,
Yeah,
if you came back to me with another offer, I would hesitate to sell it. you know, because you pissed me off so much.
How low was it? 50% off, 20%?
No, it was $50,000 off on a $470,000 house.
So 12%.
On new construction, what do you think the margin is in one of those houses?
12.4%.
I'd pay you to take it. It just got done.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. If you're gonna write an offer on new construction, how much money is in a new construction house?
Well, you don't know. If you're coming.
I'll tell you right now, that's not more than 12%.
So I don't know. When did you buy the lot? When did you buy the material?
It does, it really at this point doesn't matter.
Well, sure it does.
No, it doesn't, because if you bought the lot 4 years ago and the lot, you paid $75,000 for the lot, it's worth $125 a day, how much interest did you pay on it 4
You bought
years?
the lot 10 years ago.
How much interest did you pay on it 10 years? No, I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying, but the reality is, there's, in new construction, there's no pot of gold at the end. Like, there might have been in 2020, 2021, but the houses were selling so fast it didn't matter. Guys were losing money because the house is so fast. Today, in a normal market, most builders are making between 8 and 12%. That's it. I will sell houses where the realtors make more than I make. And I'm not exaggerating, that's a fact. So, if you wanna go and make deep discounts on new construction, you are going to offend some people, because they're just not there.
Well, it just you should never, anytime you put an offer in where they put rejected and not countering you back, you're just wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
Especially if you really want it, and then you try to go back again, you're gonna use all your leverage.
Yeah, it might be worthwhile to make a phone call and ask, and hey, they're thinking about making an offer like this. You know, I'm just trying to help you guys as realtors,
Yeah.
because
I think we all are pretty good
if
about
you guys are wanting to get into new construction, which half the market's new construction, it's a different game. You know, if somebody's selling a house because they're gonna move, you don't know the motivation of somebody selling a resale house, right? Maybe they need to move. Maybe they owe $100,000 in the house. Maybe it's their parents and they passed away and they just want to move off the estate. You don't know. So maybe it's been on the market for a while. Make a discounted offer or something. But when new construction, there's a cost associated with it. There's a margin in it, and there's not a huge margin in it. Offering what's less than what they're taking, unless it's a wholesale market, could be problematic in trying to get a deal done with someone. Especially if you like that area, especially if you want to live, you know, or have a builder build for you. Yes, sir.
What kind of a margin are you trying to capture on a new construction?
As much as I can.
Market value.
30%.
But the reality is
Country.
6 to 12%.
6 to 12%.
That's what reality is. Anything more than that doesn't work.
Right. I asked that just because
Yeah.
someone does give you a low ball offer, if it's still within your margin,
I still might not take
you
it.
still may not take it.
Just because if I feel I could sell it for more.
Sure.
I feel like, new construction is not, no matter where you go, there's not a whole lot of negotiation. They usually have a promotion that they're advertising with it, and that's it, you know.
There's just not a lot of money in new construction. Yes, sir.
Quick question, I understand what you're talking about days on market before it even begins. But if you have a house that's truly had the certificate of occupancy and been on the market for 6 months, how much do you consider your carry cost? How much does that weigh in on your decision on what to sell the house at?
Two sides of that, right? Two carry costs. But if I've already carried it for 6 months, and if I'm paying $8,000 a month, I already have $50,000 more cost associated with that house.
Right.
I owe a bank a certain amount.
Right,
At some point, it doesn't make sense to sell the house,
just hold it.
or give it back to the bank. Let somebody else deal with it,
Oh,
right?
Well, then
Right.
take the risk on it.
Let them take the risk on it.
that wouldn't damage your ability to work with them in the future?
It's better than they're gonna go bankrupt.
That's true.
I mean, those are serious. I mean, in today's world, if you have $1 million house, I mean, I'm paying $8,000 to $10,000 a month for interest on a house. So it sits there for 6 months. That's $60,000. Now, yes, that's $60,000 more it cost me, and yes, I'd like to move off that. But it gets to a certain point where you just can't anymore. So, trying to take advantage for your client of a situation, you know, they might not be able to do it. You might not be able to close it, and that you don't want to get into that situation. So I know of people who have been in that situation. They make an offer on a house, you're ready to close, and all of a sudden the builder can't close the house because they don't have enough money to pay off the rest of the loan.
They can't cover the difference.
They can't cover the difference. Now you got a real problem, because you got, your client sold their house to someone who's getting ready to move in, and you find out 2 days before closing, they can't close that house. Now what do you do,
Makes sense.
right?
Then it becomes a short sale.
Yeah, and then that's months to get resolved. There's, you know, the market's good, but it's not super healthy. There's still there's areas and pockets of things. There's a new reality coming that we're trying to adjust to and figure out. Is in the new construction game, the builders are really struggling with, and I think it's gonna be something that's gonna be very interesting to see. Because the money, with interest rates being higher, it costs much more money to build houses. So when houses sit for a long period of time, it just eats away at any kind of profit you have. But here's the thing, if I'm a builder, if I wanna sell a house, how do I get a build job? I have to have something standing to show someone. So it gets really difficult, you know? Back in the day when the market was going great, everybody wanted to be a builder. Everybody got in a building and built houses and thought that, you know, you could do it. Now, I could build a house, simple, you know? Today's world, I mean, I had somebody the other day talk to me about building a house. I said, well, if you have about $300,000 in a bank, you could probably build $1 million spec. But you better have $300,000 of your own money willing to risk to build that spec. So you only borrow 80% anyway, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So,
And tool belt.
and then you have to have money in the bank to pay for other stuff, so,
16 penny nails.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's a challenging game out there right now, and that's why you see the smaller builders going away. That's one of the things that I've sat here and talked to you guys about. National builders are gonna encourage take over. National builders take over, you end up with very limited options. No, you know,
No
very,
quality.
you know, the quality
Oh, it's
can be an issue. You know, I'm not speaking bad about anybody, but it's death to the smaller builder, local builder is a challenge in the marketplace. It's gonna be a
And that is completely a volume game.
completely a volume game at that point for national builders. Completely a volume game. They do not look at one house or two houses. They'll look at a subdivision, see if they're doing a subdivision. You know, that subdivision's not doing well. They'll finish it out quickly and get rid of it and move on to the next one.
Yeah, the quality goes away.
Any other questions?
Takeaway for newer agents, like, I love the idea of trying to do right by your client, and a lot of times your client's gonna want you to put that offer together that sucks, right? But if you call the agent on the other side before and explain to them what's happening, it's gonna go a lot farther. I mean, just this weekend I had a call from somebody, he's like, hey, my clients wanna make a $40,000, and offer $40,000 under, cause they only got cash and they don't wanna take out a loan. I'm like, well, I can tell you we're not gonna accept it, but put the offer together and let's see if we can work towards something that makes sense.
Middle ground.
Exactly, as opposed to just firing that fucking offer off and you're like, what is this? Builder's angry, agent's angry, you've lost all ground. Like, there's no negotiation
It's stupid to
anymore.
do that.
Yeah, just because of the way you handled it. Whereas you picked up the phone, called the agent, there's probably a deal, or at least an
I bet
opening of a
agents
door.
do that, or on the other side, where they did it just so they can sneak in the buyer rep. Just take their client.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly. They're
That's
using
best.
they're using that client to finally get their buyer's rep signed so they have them under contract. But like, if
Oh, I
you're
didn't
really
think of that.
serious, make the phone call and let people know where you're coming from.
That's we had another offer came through, and not only did they lowball us, you know, 40 grand on the purchase price, they wanted $20,000 in concessions closing as well.
They can't.
You know, so it's you know, it's
60,000 off your profit.
on a 2,000 square foot house in Meridian, on Eustic and
You're talking about
Locust Grove.
Raspberry Crossing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something that you can't find anything like that in the marketplace for that price. You know, so yeah, you know,
But CBH is giving $30,000 discounts.
on a house that's 2 miles away,
A lot of
that's
them
not
are.
it's not the same.
Boise Hunter's doing
Yeah.
the same thing, but they won't
Boise
take it
Hunter.
off. They won't take it off the price of the house. You have to use
Right.
it towards something.
Yeah.
You gotta get greedy.
Yeah.
So Boise Hunter is offering $80,000
They don't wanna hurt their
for renters
appraisers.
right now
Yeah,
on, you know, a $1.4 million house.
well, because he's kicked everybody out.
Yeah.
Because he's he's kicked everybody out. You know, he tried to sell a bunch of lots, nobody would buy out there because his HOA, it's difficult and it's a challenge.
It's very difficult.
So, any other questions? New construction? I appreciate the feedback, appreciate the questions. It really is interesting. I just want you guys to understand, if half our marketplace is new construction, the way you approach you cannot approach new construction as resale. There is a difference in the game. There really
Oh, totally.
is. You know, there really is.
It's good to have your thumb on the pulse when you're out there talking about real estate.
Let's talk about something that's really interesting.
Yes.
So, interest rates. So, where do we saw the Fed take a half point cut on the amount to borrow money. When was that? Anybody have an idea?
September.
Was it here?
Mm-hmm. No. before that.
No, it was here.
Oh, right there.
Oh.
It was here. Right about here, probably.
Put a pin mark.
So we knew it's happened. All these little blips typically, I mean, they think it's going to go down, then all of a sudden it doesn't go down, it goes back up, and then it comes back. They think it's going to come down, it doesn't go back down, it goes back up. So we've been saying, you know, because this rate has not followed what the discounts and interest have been, because they were the same November of last year was the same as what we just saw a cut here.
Right before the election.
The federal rate has been the same the whole way through until here,
Mhm.
right? So why did all that volatility happen? Banks were speculating on what the Fed was gonna do. Or they just wanted to get more money out there. They had money, they wanted to go loan it, right? We lower the Fed rate, and interest rates shoot back up.
You
They-
have some banks right now that are out there that are offering rates lower than that because they're speculating for the future that it's gonna come down for their pricing, because they wanna gain more market share.
Right. Yeah. There are some better rates, but it's just interesting. It's counterintuitive, right? When we take our first dip in the Fed rate in 2 years, 2.5 years.
Do you have that same graph with overlapping like the Dow Jones?
No, I could do that, but so anyway, when they lowered the rate and the interest rates have gone back up. It really doesn't, and it really doesn't make much sense. This up here doesn't make much sense because they talked about lowering the Fed again. Everybody thought we'd lower it again 2 more times. Well, the new Fed, you know, not new, but the Fed chairman decided that he doesn't think that they need to lower the Fed the rate anymore. But if you look at, here's the consensus, they think we're gonna see another, you know, cut in December and maybe another cut in next spring. Right? And this is kind of the consensus, they're about 50-50 it's gonna happen. Last month, if you look at last month's slide, they were 100% sure it was gonna happen. So the new, I keep saying new. He's not new. Can't think of his name right now.
Powell?
Yeah, Jerome Powell has basically said, well, the stock market, you know, took a run after the election. Everybody thought, oh, cool. Then it stopped abruptly when he says, cool, we don't need to lower the interest rates anymore. You know, we saw inflation go up in October, and we saw apparently, our spending is gone up. We're good, and since the stock market's gone up, the economy's healthy. We don't need to lower it.
Yeah.
And the stock market instantly went down.
Yeah. Credit card debt though. Is probably one of
But it's counterintuitive right now, and that's not an appointment that Donald Trump has to make. He has no control over who runs that.
You can't change that.
He can't change him. Jerome Powell is the guy.
Just for 2 more years, right?
Yeah, 2 more years. But then he can be reinstated too. So
Who appoints him?
does the president appoint him?
I know the president can't fire him, but I think he
can do
recommends.
it.
I think he recommends that the Senate has to approve it. Yeah, but they can't remove him either. That's the issue. So it's interesting. It really doesn't make much sense why interest rates are so high right now. The reality is the economy isn't that great. It really isn't.
Do you have any idea what percentage of people, and I'm looking locally here, what percentage of people like have lost a job recently? Because I know of 10 people that have been fired in the last 4 months.
Yeah, I don't know if unemployment, I haven't checked unemployment locally, but, I know that the economy, I mean, you can say what you want about the economy, but, I mean, we just took a referendum vote on that. And they didn't, I think that was one of the biggest things in the presidential election was the economy. And, we're tired of things being so high.
Do you think that what we're seeing is a few months behind of what reality is?
Yeah, I think it's worse than what led to be believed out there. And no offense for any political standpoint, but in 10 weeks, Kamala Harris spent $1 billion, over $1 billion. 700 million of that went to advertising. So in 10 weeks they advertised, and they were getting paid $700 million to go out there and tell a story how good the economy and stuff was. I just don't believe that it's that good. Yes, sir.
Speculation, right before the election, the interest rates, gas prices kind of went down a little bit. Now the election's over, they've all kind of gone back up a little bit. Do you think there's anything?
Actually, gas prices have
Gas
come down.
prices are way down.
They've come down since the election.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
they've come down since the
Good.
election.
Well, just the interest rates.
Interest rates, they dropped the Fed because they said why they're gonna do it, and it happened, so they did it. So I don't think it has a lot to do with that. I really don't. I don't think it had a lot to do with that. I mean, in the years past, you could see that potentially, but he said he'd drop it when inflation got down to 2%. It got down to 2.2%, so he dropped it. So that's reality. But it's back up again a little bit already. So gas prices have pretty much go up and down based on
Actually, gas
demand.
prices are, I don't know why I said that.
On demand. Well, I think one of the things you're looking at right now, I look at, and we were talking about this a little bit too, is inflation's gone up, but I think it has a lot to do with corporate greed.
Yeah.
A lot to do with corporate greed.
I will say that I don't have that stat in front of me, but credit card debt has
Yeah,
gone up.
we've talked about it.
tremendously.
It's the highest it's ever been.
And defaults on people's houses, late payments have gone up.
Significant.
Yes. Yes.
So,
That's
And when you think about
Start
people
pulling
that got
boards.
into a mortgage at
back to doing that.
3.5%, and now they're running into trouble, there's nothing they can do. They can't refinance at 7%.
Yeah, there's no more, yeah,
There-
the market's gone up on average
Yeah.
10 to 20% the
Your
last 8
payment's gonna
years,
go
so
up
everyone's been bailing themselves
$2,000.
out, now
Hey.
they can't. Sad.
1 in 24 houses in the state of Idaho is in foreclosure. 1 out of 2,400.
So how many
I don't
houses
know,
are in
that,
Idaho?
is that high or low?
How many houses are in Idaho?
1 million.
9 million houses.
1 billion.
I looked for that number and I couldn't find it.
Well, there's only 2 million people in the whole state.
Right.
Only.
So if there's 2 million people in the state, right, that means there's about 400,000 houses. Because not everybody lives in a house, and we live in apartments and stuff.
Yeah.
So 400,000 houses, so
I don't know if that's desk.
I mean,
High or low, I
ballpark,
can't tell.
whatever, I'm just saying, that number right there, it's getting worse, and, you look at nationally, it's hot, it's gone up in the last 3 years, and like you're saying, in the past, when you had problems, you just refinanced, interest rates were low,
Right.
you could refinance and kick the ball down the road longer.
Yeah,
Can't
coming
today.
to a hole.
Can't today,
There are
right?
People pay for their phone,
751,000
their groceries,
houses
and
in
their
Idaho.
car before they
Huh?
leave the hospital.
751,000 houses in Idaho.
751,000 houses in Idaho, so
Well, that-
somebody do that.
That works out.
What is it?
to
That's
0.0.
30,000.
people.
30,000,
Right.
that's 30,000 houses,
That's crazy.
No, how many?
30,000,
I got 300.
Yeah,
huh?
750,000
751,000
divided by 2,400.
24.
Carry the one.
312.
Yeah, it should be 0.04%, it's a pretty small percentage.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be 24 or 2,400?
2,400.
It's 2,400.
Okay, yeah, that's a little.
Here's the deal. I just did this. I asked a question because I really wanted to talk about this. This is why I did it. Because I wanted to see, this is just data. I typed it in the computer asking, hey,
She's
what's
made all that.
real estate stats?
Could be fake.
It's AI generated.
Yeah.
Ugh, fake.
Is it
Can you
fake?
fact
I don't
check
know.
it, please?
Well, I did. That came from Google's AI generated
Fake
model,
until they become aware.
right? But here's the thing. I will tell you AI can be helpful. The reason I did this is just to show you, this information is pretty easily out there. I don't know how accurate it is, how close it is. I think the median price, I know Ada County is different. Again, this was in Idaho. So, and this was AI generated stuff. But I thought it was interesting. But I will tell you this, Jamie, could you talk a little about this? Jamie helps me with listings and stuff, and she uses ChatGPT to create the word verbiage for the listings.
Yeah.
And it helps, it works. I think it works really well. Jamie?
Where'd you get that?
I can come up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just
did
take
a
a look
little-
foreclosure rates.
You would get that.
Huh?
In 2010,
I just put features.
foreclosure rate was 2.5%. Currently, it's 0.3%
Yeah.
nationwide.
Yeah.
But in 2010,
That's awesome.
we had a huge issue that was
Right.
impacted from 2008.
Right. Foreclosures typically happen after the fact, not, that's not a leading indicator to it. There's other things.
It's a response.
Yes.
Is that what she is?
See a very similar
So-
rate
Guys.
climate as well in 2010 from
Can we
them.
get some positivity in here, please, though?
It's pretty simple. I just pulled this random listing on the MLS to give you an example. So I just took, you can take this verbiage.
Could you read it in an AI voice?
No,
Okay.
I thought that said.
Rare.
It's like, down.
and then you can go into like ChatGPT and you can just say something like, optimize this verbiage for a new real estate listing. And then paste.
Holy cow. Somebody did.
It took all 6 seconds.
And there you go.
Hold on, I missed that first line, what did you put in to get that?
I just copied the listing description from a random MLS listing. The description wasn't very good. It was pretty basic. You can literally just enter kind of what's nearby it, how many bedrooms, some of the features, and it'll spit out.
I gave
original-
Jamie just a list, basically it has 4 bedrooms, large this, just normal bullshit stuff that sounds like nobody writes shit down, right? And gave it to her, she puts it in there and all of a sudden it comes with this cool thing that makes sense.
But look at this original verbiage was
She plays guitar, you know that?
large lot close to airport in downtown in a quiet neighborhood, fenced pasture, great for horses or other animals. It's just very basic. So these are the ones.
This is towards Jamie, but I wrote my bio for 208 and the ChatGPT, you
Fuck
told me
yeah.
I had to change it.
No, I
It was
didn't.
too professional. So, now you're using it. I'm out of here.
So, hold on.
Professional.
Also, if it's
Is that
too
real?
long, you can then like reply again and just say, shorten these responses.
You have like 450 characters, right? In a line that tells you how many characters you have. On the MLS tells you how many characters you have, so you can say has me this many characters as well. It'll do it. Yeah, I'm just telling you guys, this
So
is a
here's
cool
what
tool.
it spit out. It's, it just,
Yeah.
It's a great feature.
any verbiage you need for flyers, whatever, it's.
Yeah, it's stunning kitchen. It's great. Well, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's. I always struggle with listings, writing that shit up. Because I just, come on. I always use the same words over and over again, or you can. If you look, just go and look at random listings and read
That's
what the
literally what I
descriptions.
did.
It's like holy
It's a
crap.
beautiful home with a beautiful kitchen.
Yeah,
and a beautiful
exactly.
living room.
Yeah, and a large,
Beautiful.
expansive.
Huge lot, lots of possibilities.
You can't use the same word
Yeah.
twice.
Right.
Yeah,
So I'm just telling you, there's tools out there that are really simple, really easy. If you have any questions, give it to Jamie. But it's just something that I think is a great tool for you guys to be able to use.
A lot of agents use it. You can tell the
Ray
listings
Linda
that
does that too.
that have.
Thanks, Jamie.
So
She sets the office over there. I don't need minutes.
and you can't be too professional apparently. Hey, I always want to give you guys a quote or something at the end.
Oh yeah, it's my band.
I did Joe Rogan because he's kind of in the news lately. I did a drinking game the night of the election. I listened to MSNBC, and every time they mentioned his name, I'd take a drink. I didn't make it. I had to pass out because it was
Yeah,
too
we
much.
saw the
They kept
Facebook
talking
post.
about it. Yeah, exactly.
We saw the Facebook post, like, oh.
I was like, yay! No. It was hilarious, man. Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan and Joe. I'm like, are you kidding me?
He's our man, he can do it.
I do listen to this podcast. I do think he's a good dude, and it's just interesting that they credit him for stuff that it's not true, but it's kind of the cult of personality, in my opinion. But he does have this is a good one. Too often we do find ourselves by our failures, and all your failures is something to build on in the future. Just look at what you're doing today, build on momentum you're doing today, and be better. Right? Inspired. So.
I like it.
Any other questions? Anything else? Kind of we're talking about. What do you think interest rates are going to do?
I think you're gonna see rates dip in February, March, maybe April time, but I don't think you're gonna see any major movement. I think you're gonna see historically rates go up over Christmas time.
Yeah.
And into January. That's a historical fact for the past 30 years.
I think rates are hurting lower priced houses right now. I really do. I think people are difficult to get into houses today.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at an interest rate of 6.5%, 7%,
We need to be down.
that's a tougher thing to
Think
do.
about another aspect of this. The current physician pay in Idaho, Boise general area is about $105 an hour. If you went to med school and you spent $400,000 in student debt, how would you buy a house? You can't. Like you just physically can't.
Better be a good doctor.
Yeah, for only pennies.
Well, yeah, and then you
You
can't.
can hire a framer for $35 or $40 an hour, and you have someone who has a 12-year medical degree making 3 times that.
Yeah, we have some serious issues, and I'm not trying to be a downer, but we have some serious issues in this economy.
Yeah.
When you have every company that's a public company has to make more money next year than they did this year, and they had to make more money this year than they did the year before, and they made more money the year before. I mean, there's no their expectations are to keep growing. If you don't, then you lose your job as a CEO,
Yeah.
right? You had COVID, during COVID, you had these drug companies that made billions of dollars on COVID, and the next year they got to make more money. So now we come up with the weight loss medication, Ozempic. The company that owns Ozempic is the 7th richest company in the world. Seventh most valuable company in the world, just on a drug that they came up with. It's a Norwegian company, Nordic.
What is the name?
It's Nordic something. But Ozempic's the company that founded that has Ozempic, the 7th richest company in the world. I mean, that's saying a lot, guys. I mean, but it's not just that way and everything. It's that we were talking about margins the other day, right? So I work in the lumberyard. If a sheet of OSB, you frame out. I need 400 sheets of OSB on a house, right? It used to be $8 a sheet. And at the lumberyard, I'm just saying round numbers was 10% profit, or 10% margin. That's 80 cents a sheet. When OSB goes to $20 a sheet, it's $2 a sheet. Now we went from making 80 cents a sheet to $2 a sheet, right? But I still got to pay a driver, still got to pay a truck, still pay gas to get it there. But I'm not paying double that. I'm not paying that driver from $13 an hour or $15 an hour to $30 an hour, or the truck doesn't cost me double, the gas doesn't cost me double, so the company's making a little more money. Well, I work for a big company. I work in a lumberyard for a big company, and we did this much this year, and they expect us to do that much more next year.
You gotta grow by 10 or 15%.
Right, you gotta continue the growth. So when times are really good, we grew margins, we grew profits. Well, when times get bad, there's no excuse to go back and not make as much money. So then we have inflation, we have prices of vehicles, and we have prices, we were talking about used car, I read something the other day. The average price of a new vehicle is almost $55,000.
That's crazy.
The average price of a resale vehicle today is $27,000.
Crazy.
That's the average resale price of a vehicle, $27,000.
Yeah, it just seemed like a diesel 1 ton you could get for like $60,000 5 years ago. Now they're like, what, 100?
And I bought
Or more.
my truck, that gray truck that Levi's
Yeah.
driving now, that gray truck, that diesel I bought that in 2017 for $56,000. I had the oil changed in it at a dealership about 4 months ago. They offered me $75,000 for it, cash.
Did you take it?
Cash.
No, I
No,
won't take your money.
no.
Yeah, cause then what do you gotta pay to
And
get the
I
next?
was paying $125,000 to buy another one.
Hey, well,
I mean, $75,000, and it has 80,000 miles on
shit.
it. And at 75,000, I made money on it.
Chevy?
The GMC.
Yeah.
One time, right? It's just, but I'm just saying, guys, it's just, but it's not, it's everything we have, it's everything we do, it's everything. The corporate greed is a real problem.
Is that why we have a recession every 10 years to help bring balance to the force?
No, I don't think it balances the force. Only thing that changes it, only thing that changes it, only thing that's gonna, I mean, I hate to say it,
Recession does?
only thing that's changed this is war.
Jesus.
Massive
Love,
war.
Love.
Cause I think about, like, when I ran a bank, I ran an entire mortgage
Guys,
firm.
listen to this.
I was hired into a bank that was looking at $350,000 a year in their mortgage department. I came in and I made them $1.3 million in profit in 12 months.
Mic drop.
Yeah, guess what? My salary was $120,000 a year. I got a $100,000 bonus.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it was great. Except for then the next year they wanted me to make $2.3 million. You can't do it. You can't keep doing it.
And if you don't, your bonus isn't as big.
Okay, can we leave with something positive?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The positive thing is, it's not snowing. It's not raining, it's gonna rain. No, guys, I think the market's, I do think that it seems like there's more activity in the market. The inventory's down a little bit, we have some buyers. People seem to, maybe with the election being over, maybe there's some more positivity in the market today. But I don't think economically we're out of the woods. I think there are some issues and there's stuff looming. We got some debts to pay. So,
Yeah,
I appreciate your honesty.
okay, you bet, bud. Thank you, guys. Thank you.